Welcome back. So this one was big. Module 2, Lesson 8, Information Products. Where are we in the Book Yourself Solid system? So Module 1 was about building our foundation. 4 pillars: the red velvet rope policy, developing a personal brand, why people buy what you're selling, and how to talk about what you do. Moving on from Module 1, having built our foundation, we're now on Module 2. That's about building trust and credibility. Again, 4 pillars. Pillar 1, building trust and credibility. Pillar 2, building a Book Yourself Solid sales cycle process. Pillar 3, keep in touch strategy. And now a key one, Pillar 4, information products. So, what makes up our information product strategy? 4 parts. First of all, to define your product. Secondly, want to bring you through 5 steps to developing your product. Then to move on using a 3-step formula to help you create your first draft. Finally, launching the product using a 3-step sequence. So let's get into it. The first thing about information products is sometimes people have a barrier around this. Just play with it and have fun. Just jump in. Think about it. In our foundation, we define the people that we are meant to serve. We have to find the people we are meant to serve. We are a category authority. These people want to hear your voice. And remember, there's a difference between creating the best written material and the best selling material. If you are fully self-expressed in what you write, and you create a product the best way you can, it'll work. So, first of all, defining your product. What type of a product is it? What is your target market? So obviously we have created our target market back here, but for this specific product, is there an even more defined target market? You see, some people say that information products aren't for them. What are some of the red hot benefits of information products? Well, first of all, these can be created products, information products. They can solely be lead generation information products. A well-created information product, it can literally make money while you sleep. Unquestionably, information products, they will enhance your credibility with everyone that you meet. People in your sales cycle process, it will speed them up as they go through the sales cycle process. Information products in their simplest form, they create the low barrier to entry product. You see, the way the Book Yourself Solid system looks at information products is, it is a way to stop trading time for money. And to increase your hourly rate. So, in defining your information product, we have to start with, well, what is the type of the product? What is our target market? Clarify what your red hot benefits are, and then try to establish, well, what's the look and feel of this product? What is the emotion that it will convey? And then, before we even start creation, at the definition stage, we need to look at, well, how will I leverage it? So, a part of the creation process, how can this be repurposed? How can this be created in different formats in the future? Because that's going to have an impact on the content and the entire process. So, having defined your product, now to look at the 5 steps to developing your information product. Let's start with the first one. When you're developing your information product, you need to decide what role you are playing. This is almost like characters in a play. Do you want to be the expert? Well, here's what I've done, and I've put my theory on it. Do you want to be the interviewer who interviews experts in their field and compiles information for the users? Do you want to be a researcher? So this is a researcher who gathers information, compiles it, and presents it in such a way that it serves the wants and needs of their target market? Or do you want to be the repurposer, where obviously with permission, but you take existing content and you repurpose it into a different application for a different purpose for your target market. So that's step one. What is your role? Step two, choose your product framework. So there's a few different product frameworks here. You can set this out. Are you coming up, well, here's the problem and here's your solution? And maybe you're going to go for a modular framework to your product, where there's a series of independent units and they combine to form an overall structure. And maybe you're just going to create something in chronological format, so you have to follow through in specific order to get to the end result, to get to the benefit. And you might do a compare-contrast, whereby we're presenting scenarios or options and we're doing this compare and contrast. And maybe it will be a numerical format, where you've got a series of key lessons. Or it could just be a reference format, where you create a valuable resource based on existing information, whereby people can access information in a different way. So, decide, first of all, what's the role that you're playing. Second of all, the product framework from within our 5 or 6 choices. The third step to developing your information product: choose a title that sells. So obviously you're going to start with a working title. That's a description of what you're doing and how. But you need to choose. You need to choose from suspense titles. Maybe a title that creates an emotional connection. Or a title that tells a story. A title that presents a solution to a problem. Or maybe for those people that are away motivated, a title that addresses some kind of a fear. So, having defined our product, having come up with our product framework, now we choose a title that sells. At this stage, we want to build our table of contents. So, obviously we've got our title. You probably then want to jump to the body or the main points of your product. From going from the body or main products, the next step is probably to go into the introduction of benefits, and then to wrap the whole thing up with your conclusion as step 4. So, we've defined our product, we've looked at 5 steps to developing our product. The next thing we want to look at is this 3-step formula to get to first draft. So, creating your product, not everybody is a natural writer. Not everybody is a natural creator. But we can all do this. So, in terms of creating your product, start wherever's easiest. So, start wherever's easiest. Go with the flow. Like, fill it out. Now, in terms of the formula to get to your first draft of product, it's about doing a data dump. Get it all down. Having done a data dump, strip it down. Having stripped it down, then clean it up and repeat. So, data dump, strip it down, clean it up, and then go through that sequence of passes until you have something that you're happy with. The final stage of product, information products, is the 3-step product launch. We're looking at here 3 steps. We're looking at pre-launch, we're looking at launch, and we're looking at post-launch. So first of all, pre-launch. This is where you're priming the market. You're trying to feed the market. You're trying to get people excited before this comes on stream. The launch, having primed the market and fed them and built up a bit of momentum, the launch needs to be exciting. It needs to be incentives. People need to see, well, why do we need to buy this? Why do we need to get on the ground floor? And actually, the most difficult part of the 3-step product launch is post-launch. Think about, how are you going to maintain the excitement? Like, obviously, if it's a product whereby you're closing the doors and there's a cut-off, well then, how do people get in for the next time round? But if it's not a defined starting-ending product, well, how do you maintain that excitement? So, information products, summary. 4 parts, define your product. Second part, 5 steps to developing your information product. Those 5 steps are: choose the role you're playing, choose your product framework, choose a title that sells, build a table of contents, and finally go away and create your content. And in terms of creating your content, that brings us to our 3 steps to content creation. Dump, strip it down, clean it up, and repeat. And finally, the 3-step product launch, taking into account your pre-launch, your launch, and your post-launch. So, where are we in the Book Yourself Solid system? So at this stage now, we have looked at Module 1 and the 4 pillars which build our foundation. Now we've looked at Module 2, which is about building trust and credibility. Again, 4 pillars: building trust and credibility, building a Book Yourself Solid sales cycle process, having a keep in touch strategy, and pillar 4, information products. Having looked at Module 1 and Module 2, we're now moving on to Module 3. 2 elements to Module 3: perfect pricing and super simple selling. So join me again in a couple of minutes and we'll start with perfect pricing.